Hey everyone, welcome back to the Speak Up Erica podcast. I'm your host, Erica, and this podcast talks about things that we're scared to talk about but should. I'm back with Carlos. Hey, Carlos.
Oh,
Yo,
yellow.
yellow. What's up? How are you?
Pretty good. Pretty good,
Good, good.
Oh, well, people don't know the usual, but, I'm just, I don't know. Pandemic time, just living my life.
Yeah, I feel that.
Living my life in quarantine centers. Okay.
Yeah, doing the best we can with what we
Yeah,
have.
exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. Yeah. It's it's kind of crazy because I remember I just told you that the last time you were on the podcast was over a year ago, like almost a year ago, which is crazy
Yeah,
that it's been that long.
that took us hours to do.
Oh my God, yeah. That podcast was so much fun though. Yeah, Carlos and I were both so nervous. Well, like not nervous, but we just kept uncontrollably laughing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, we couldn't we couldn't record properly. So our topic today is going to be life after grad, and we're going to talk about what grade 13 was like because we both did another lap after high school, and just what life is like after university and trying to not work a job that's minimum wage because you went through so many years of uni.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about that. But I guess before we get started, I wanted to ask you a fun question. Okay. So since we were both baristas at one point, what's
Okay.
your go-to drink order?
Go-to drink order. Okay, are we talking about like smoothies? Are we talking about like lattes? Are we talking about like a
Oh,
coffee, espresso base? Are we talking about like hot or cold?
okay. Okay. All right. Geez. True. You a real barista.
Oh, no, 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 no. I just like whenever I'm feeling something, I know what
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for.
Okay. Tell me a hot, your go-to hot drink and your go-to cold drink. And it could be like whatever you think, with coffee or without coffee. Like some if someone's like, Carlos, what's a hot drink that you want right now? And that's like your go-to.
Okay, clearly I don't know myself. I thought I did. uh, hmm, uh, I think I would say my go-to hot drink would be a green tea latte, but I
Mhm.
feel like a green tea would suffice, you know? Like I think I avoid a lot of the dairy products now,
Yeah.
with drinks. I don't know why. I feel like I feel less bloated.
Mhm.
Um, with the cold drinks, I my taste buds have actually changed over the pandemic. So I like a lot of just bitter things. I like an iced americano. No, like
Nice.
yeah, just as is, or an iced coffee, no sugar.
Wow. I say
Yeah.
we have like a kind of a similar palette then.
Hey,
Yeah,
look
because
at us.
I I think mine would be kind of similar to you, but to like my go-to hot drink, this is very specific. I don't know if you have any like, specifics for like your go-to. So I would get probably a matcha green tea latte. Depends where I get it, like half sweet, less hot, less foam probably, and with probably oat milk I would get. And if I'm getting an americano, I would get an iced americano with like honey on the side or hot americano with honey on the side, and that's like really good too.
I think that's a lot of modifications. I think that's just like that's an average amount. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Do you
seen
have a
worse.
lot of mods?
I used to. I'm not gonna lie, and
Yeah.
I used to, but like now, just yeah. But a lot of the modifications are just like don't do this, don't do that, and like it's just if you think about it, it looks like a lot, but it's just like oh, you just want
That
as
makes sense.
diluted. So it's like yeah.
Yeah. What's your mod for americano?
No, no, it was from one of the drinks. I forgot what I did quite a bit. I don't
Oh,
recall now though. I'm not gonna lie, I don't recall.
okay. Yeah. I f-
Um,
I feel like when you're a barista, you know specifically what you want, like ordering as a customer, you
yeah.
know? Yeah. But yeah, thanks for sharing, Carlos. I guess we'll move on to our topic.
Okay, okay, I'm done.
um, so yeah, life after grad. I guess first we'll start off with our journey after high school. Because for me and you, we spent grade 5 to grade 11 together. In grade 12, we weren't together, but then grade 13, we were back together.
Yeah, we were supposed to be
Yeah.
dating grade 5, hello.
Yeah. Carlos and I are supposed to be boyfriend and girlfriend, grade
Yeah, what the
5.
heck?
So Carlos and I both did grade 13 together. Why did you decide to go back for another lap after your high school?
I think a lot of it had to do with like not being sure. And even doing grade 13, let me tell y'all, did I know what I was doing? No. I went into a program thinking, oh, I think I like accounting and finance. Went into it, hated my life, and I dropped out and I changed
Mhm.
to a different program. So honestly, like I appreciate the time and the things I learned throughout grade 13.
Mhm.
I feel like I was kind of able to think a bit more clearly on what I wanted and reflect more on what I wanted. I think anyone knows if they made the right decision till you actually reach that. I honestly think I made the right decision.
Mhm. But yeah, no, that makes sense. I totally agree with even even though you're in grade 13 trying to figure out things because you didn't really know what to do after grade 12, it's still all confusing. Like it's still all a, a learning journey and you're trying to figure yourself out.
I feel like even grade 13, even having that extra time is very beneficial, I find.
Yeah.
I'd rather go through that year instead of actually having to waste like a lot of money and going through all that pressure in my first year and not doing so hot.
Yeah.
So taking that extra time was actually really beneficial. And I know like me taking the first year of my program, like the program I didn't really like and pursue, like obviously like it didn't work out for me. I feel making that decision actually helped me learn a lot about myself.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand that. And there's a lot of people who go through uni and they end up dropping out in like their third year, for example, right? Yeah, so I think the reason why I did grade 13 was because the programs I applied for, I was unsure if I wanted to do it. I didn't
Mm.
even remember what I got in. I didn't want to accept it because I didn't know if I wanted to do it and I didn't want to waste money because it's, uni's a lot of money. Um, but yeah, one I did only half of grade 13 actually. Because in second semester, I got accepted into school, into UTM, and
Oh
then
yeah, girl, you left me.
yeah, I know, I'm
I remember you're
sorry.
like, "Cuz I'm leaving you." I'm like, "Why are you breaking up with me?
Yeah,
Why?"
I know, broke up with you 10 years later.
I know.
I know, but yeah, I got accepted into UTM, and I was like, "Okay, sweet, I don't have to be here anymore." And then they, like, signed my papers, and I did. And I think it just worked until university started. Did your parents have an opinion of you going back to high school, when other people, like, finished high school?
I feel like there sort of was like something unsaid, but you just felt that. Maybe they didn't even mean to say anything. It was just me in my own head, right? I feel like that pressure I always had is like, oh, they're probably saying that like, oh, like, why am I taking so slow? Why am I so slow as a student who doesn't know what they're doing, right? So I feel like with that pressure in the back of my mind, I feel like I tend to overthink and overstress myself with these situations when in reality they probably supported me with my decision to
Mm.
go back. Um, a part of me wants to say that like again, like maybe the initial idea of going back for grade 13 did not sit with them. But of course when you explain yourself, it's like I need this because I don't know what I want to do. I don't want to look back at my life and say I hate my life, you know?
Mhm.
I didn't. I think that was a good decision, even though that idea may not have sat well with my parents. But I think they grew to accept it pretty quickly.
Mhm.
Yeah, with the grade 13,
Yeah.
they were fine with it. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand with that too. I feel like based on society, like after high school, you have to finish grade 12, then you go to university right away, and that's like the norm, I guess. So
Mm.
going back to grade 13, it's kind of seen like, "Oh, are you like a failure or something? Why do you have to go back and do extra schooling?" type of thing, where
Mhm,
everyone else kind of like is doing the next step. And then you also kind of feel behind with your peers.
mhm.
I don't know if you felt that way too, but it's like, oh man, in first year uni, you feel like everyone is a year younger than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if like you felt those kinds of feelings too.
I know I did, and especially I feel like it hits maybe a bit harder in university, especially when you start off with like people who are younger than you. And you're just like, oh dang, like I am older than them. But I feel like that even that feeling in itself goes away as time passes, you know?
Mhm.
Or maybe I know it's different for all, so that feeling may sit with them longer.
Yeah.
But personally, in my from my experience, it sat well. It did not sit well with me, but
Mm.
the feeling sat with me for quite some time. Maybe by like a second year university, I was just like, oh, I'm older than them. I feel like I'm younger because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but they seem to know what they're doing and they're pretty wise. And I'm like, oh, they seem more mature. And so I
Mhm.
learned from my friends, and then they're like, yeah, Carlos, like we're the ones taking care of you. And I'm like, thank you
Mm.
so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because it's like as you grow up, you kind of like age really doesn't matter. And even if someone's younger than you, they can appear with the same maturity as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. And a
Yeah.
lot of them are oddly mature, like more mature than I would expect them to be.
Yeah. It's so
Mhm.
interesting, eh?
Mhm.
Thinking about that. Cool.
Yeah.
That's good to know though, because I feel like there are other people in my program that are older than me as well, and then they feel like extra behind because they're a little bit older. And then when people kind of like ask them certain things, like they're kind of feel that like ashamed feeling that they're
Mhm.
still there or starting first year at a certain age.
Mhm.
But there are always mature students, like there's no like age limit to when you can learn,
Mhm. I
technically, right?
agree.
Fast forwarding to the end, near the end of university, like we're near the
Mm.
end, right? How are you feeling with things like as you're starting to wrap up and go into adult world?
Adult world. Okay. Oh, this is gonna be a long story, but I'm gonna cut it down real short. So I actually studied in the geography and aviation program. Okay,
Mhm.
first of all, like I had a lot of like iffy feelings. There's a whole pilot demand, so I'm like, oh, okay, there's a lot of opportunities. Then I'm like, okay, I just have to grind through this. Try my best grinding through it, and then like maybe like not even 3/4 of the way. Like maybe yeah, maybe it is 3/4 of the way. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. Like this is not inspiring me anymore. And I'm like, I
Oh,
really
no
want to change my
way.
program. Yeah, and
I didn't
then
know that.
I feel like the world gave me an answer, and they gave me a fucking pandemic. Okay, I swore, but like, yeah, they gave me like I don't know. I felt like the world was giving me answers like, "Carlos, this ain't for you." And then I'm like, "Ah, damn! I wasted 4 years. You could have done this like 4 years ago. Are you serious?" And then I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." Well, it's not cool because pandemic really actually like, ruined a lot of lives,
Yeah.
but I feel like that was an answer in itself that hey, I think it's time for you to choose a different path. And so I haven't decide that. I think towards the end, like, do I even know what I want to do? The opportunities that originally I was expecting when I graduate from my program were going to be there, but now there are barely any opportunities in my. So I think it's pretty tough right now. I feel like I'm always picking up or finding jobs that are minimum wage, and so kind of occupying my time with all those minimum wage jobs really does take a toll on you. And I feel like I am not getting the experience I really need, and I'm just kind of prolonging that process. But
I
for some of them, I learned a lot, and like the friends I make, I love making connections. In my head, I feel like there comes a time where you just kind of need to branch out from that.
Yeah,
And
from the minimum wage.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I totally agree. Well, first, going back, I didn't know that's how you felt about your program and that you wanted to change and stuff.
Mhm.
But also, I think it's normal. 4 years is a long time, and you're gonna be constantly changing about like your path or what you want to do. So I think a lot of people do experience that while they're in their program. They think that this is something they want to do. Obviously, things are going to change, and it might not be something one they want to do halfway through. So I think that's completely normal and valid about how you're feeling about your program. And it's funny that like the pandemic kind of seemed like a blessing in disguise in your end, right?
Mhm.
Um, telling it's like God's sign telling you, like that's how it felt like to you.
Yeah, I
Um,
got numerous signs from him, but it was just like, damn,
yeah.
I don't read. I can't read the signs. Send me one more.
Yeah.
Um,
But, I totally feel you as well. Like, you're working the minimum jobs are great. I mean, like, people who are working minimum jobs and they're older and stuff, like, there's definitely nothing wrong with people who are working those jobs, but I think it's the idea that why did I go through all this university and schooling just to be working at a job where I didn't need as much qualification?
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely felt that way for 2 years after I graduated and got lost for a while.
How did you feel about it though, with taking all these jobs?
Ooh, so after I graduated university in 2018, so that was what, like 3 years ago? Almost 3 years ago, which is kind of crazy. I graduated in 2018 and I told myself that year of 2018 that I'm just gonna chill and go on vacay and stuff. So that year was like me just traveling, which is definitely luxury
Mm.
like experience and a privilege for sure. And then 2019 was when I started feeling the way that you were talking about, and I think that was me taking all those part-time jobs, it really affected my mental health. Like, I think I was breaking down a lot, and it was like my most lowest point, I guess, in my mental health. Like, I felt really depressed that year, and I felt worthless in all of my jobs, and just like, why am I here? And I would cry at work all the time, and I would just feel like this is not where I'm meant to be, like, I'm meant to be somewhere else, and just feel really frustrated that I'm not where I want to be. But yeah, then I ended up taking post-grad, and then I felt like I was back to where I wanted to be.
Damn. See, like it's odd when we hit that stage because we have so I guess like we all have a timeline that we make for ourselves, right? And I feel like with that added pressure on ourselves, which I don't understand, it's like damn, past me really trying to F up future me, you know? But like like you're trying to strive for a goal and like kind of reach it, right? And so when we don't reach it, like we kind of lose that trust in ourselves because the more we continue breaking our own commitments, like do we even trust ourselves? Like damn, like do I even know me? And so it does take a toll. But taking this minimum wage jobs, it's like you have all these goals in mind, and it does come at a cost. Like I'm pretty sure like nothing in life is really free, and so when you have an idea or a goal to move out, and when your minimum wage job can't really help you attain that, like it just becomes even harder. So you pick up more and more, and you repeat the same old habit. It's like a dream that you're constantly chasing, but it's like slip.
Mhm. Or you
Yeah.
take an opportunity thinking that it can help you get to kind of where you want to be, or it's a better opportunity than your current minimum wage job because maybe at that one you're getting complete 40 hours or something like that, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because I think it was last year, 2019, when I was doing tax return for 2019, I had 6 T4s to claim. So I had,
Oh dang. 64s, holy.
yeah, so yeah, that year I went through, a lot of change, 2019. But, like, it's funny because no matter what minimum wage job I went to, they were always understaffed, underpaid, like, made you work so much, and they're like, your boss and stuff expects so much of you, and it's kinda like it's all kinda the same. Like, no matter if I worked here or there, it would just it felt the same as, like, environment-wise, I guess.
Mm.
I don't know if you felt the same way at all? Well,
I feel like they're more demanding of like your energy. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like all these minimum wage jobs expect so much out of you, and I was just like, then why are you paying me minimum wage? Like, if you're paying me minimum wage, you're getting my minimum effort. Hell no, man.
I
I
love that.
am. Oh man, like I hate it. It's like, oh, we're just gonna pay minimum wage, like like serve the customers, take their shit. I'm like, no, 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 no.
No, yeah. I think that's another huge thing, like the customer part. I'm not gonna take a customer shit, like take whatever you want. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Like
Yeah.
some people would steal sandwiches from our fridge. It's like, what do you do? Do you like chase after them, call security and stuff? Or if like the customer's fucking with you, or I don't know, like if some shit is happening, you're like, damn, yo, I'm only getting paid like it's $14 an hour, but take out the tax. Like it's if you think about it, it's
Yeah.
like $12 an hour or something. Like some of my working situations, like it was not great, it was not great. And I'm like, I'm not gonna put up with this shit anymore. I'm just gonna quit. But that's funny because then when they quit, they're like, like, no, we need you. Like, don't quit.
No,
And
we'll,
they try
we'll
to.
give you an extra 50 cents, bitch.
Is that what they offered you when you tried
No,
to
no, no, no,
quit?
no. Oh, no,
Oh,
no, 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 no. It's just an example, Like, I feel like they try to entice you with like a small raise, the smallest they could give.
yeah. I think all of the jobs that I left. I said tried to leave because one of them I put in my notice and then my boss was like, "How about this?" And then I was like, "Okay, sure, we can try that."
I'm dead.
But yeah, I think all the jobs I tried to quit, they're like, "Well, like that like what about the weekends? Like can you work the weekends or what if we put you on call instead and you work just like this shift every single week so we can still have you on, Like they're trying to compromise, but at the same time it's like it's just not worth it. Just like just leave, you know?
Yeah,
If you know it's not for you, then it's not for you. And it's hard to make that decision, especially if you built like connections or friends at that place and stuff like that, right? Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
And like, I feel like people have like this idea that the moment you leave a workplace, all your friendships and your connections at that workplace disappear. No, 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 no. You can still hang out with them, message them outside the workplace. I feel like it's a better environment to foster your friendship. So
Mhm.
definitely, if it's time for you to leave and you feel like that there's a gut feeling that you need to leave, it's time to leave.
Mhm. No, I definitely agree with that. As we're talking about finishing university, like you're finishing up university and I finished 3 years ago, but I just finished post graduation, which is graduating again and like having to go back to school again. You're like considering if this is the right decision, which feels like grade 13 all over again. With all of this, what are some pressures that you've encountered with yourself and I guess like your parents and just society in general? I know it's kind of a big question.
Uh, uh, it's a question that, like, well, not even just a question, right? Like, I feel like these thoughts and answers to your question have been playing around in my own head for a long time now. Because I was supposed to graduate like 2 years ago, but like flight school can get real expensive. Like, let's be real, $500 for 2 hours, maybe not the full 2 hours, but it's just maybe like an hour and a half, and it's quite a lot, and it
Wow.
racks up. And seeing that financial pressure can actually, I guess, discourage you from actually trying to pursue it, especially if like money's kind of tight. No, like and especially if you aren't as passionate as you were before, it can play a huge role. And so I was already becoming discouraged from all factors in my life. I was just like, okay, maybe I just needed a year break. And that year break was honestly the best thing in my life because I was able to kind of reflect on what I wanted. I felt ready. My passion was reignited. And then the pandemic hit. And then I was like, oh, okay, like, is this a sign? But then the pressure literally to finish was really up there. The pressure to find a job in my field was there.
Mhm.
Since everyone really like graduated on time, like I was kind of the late one back. In reality, it could be for me, and I guess in the end, like I'm gonna work towards it. But it's just like, damn, if I could only talk myself out of that rut, like or in that kind of mindset, it would be pretty pretty rewarding now. But I feel like with the family, it's like you will always have that pressure since they expect you to graduate or they already have formed an idea what kind of career I would have by the end of it. And so since I'm unable to achieve that yet, like just now, it it, it hurts, you know? Like it just kind of is like a gut blow. It's like, ah, dang, like I don't disappoint them. And then it's like, um, given all the opportunities now from the pandemic, like there really isn't many opportunities in the aviation industry
Mhm.
for the time being. So in the time being, I feel like I have to find other opportunities outside my industry. And
Mhm.
having to spend 4 years, it's like I do not want to spend another 4 years in a different industry and then go back to the same one. You know, I feel like I don't want to walk backwards, but I just want to continue on moving forward. Uh,
Mhm.
am I even like going in the right topic now? I feel like I'm off topic, but
Oh,
like
yeah.
just I
You're
feel
fine.
like the pressure on myself, there's like so many. I don't think there is just a single pressure. There's a pressure within yourself that you already need to like achieve a goal in your head. And then there's a, or in mind, like, hey, I was supposed to graduate like a certain time, but like if I'm not there, like I have to find a job afterwards very quickly. The opportunities are getting filled up. You have your family pressure. You have now a financial pressure because now your debt is just rising and you're like, minimum wage can't pay this off, yo. Uh,
I know that one.
yeah, and then on top of that, like now you're aging, and so you have that. I guess another pressure within yourself. It's like I'm working on it based on a timeline. Like I want to have a family by like so and so. I want to move out by like when I'm like what 25. Bitch, I'm 25 and I'm still home. But I was like, I love home. You know, and like of course there's no pressure moving out. Like I feel like you move out when you're kind of ready to
Mhm.
do so. But yeah, I feel like now there's no rush for me. Like I would love to move out if I could,
Mhm.
um, but I feel like I still want to do a lot of things in my life and use that money for something else, like traveling.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I totally understand because I feel like I keep having this conversation a lot, of the pressures that we have with ourselves just with aging in general. Like right now, you're bringing up, okay, cool, like I'm gonna have to have a family soon, like move out soon. And I think, like, even as being like a woman too, I guess the pressure of getting married or the pressure of like raising a family and having kids and getting pregnant, it's like your eggs are most fertile in a certain age, but also because the older you get, the harder it is to um like deliver a baby, like there's more complications, which is why there's so like when I used to work at one of my minimum wage jobs, and then one of the titos there, they're like, "Oh, how old are you?" I'm like, "Oh, like 24, blah blah blah." I'm like, perfect age. Perfect age for what? They're like, no, get married, have a family, start having kids. I'm like, what the hell? Like, I ain't trying to do that.
Magically,
I
beat
ain't
on
trying to
my
do that.
ass.
There's so many pressures within that, I guess, right?
Yeah,
As being part of the queer community, do you think your family has pressure with you of like starting a family?
I don't think so, but no, I think my parents have like obviously it took some time for them to kind of just wrap their hand around it, but I feel like now they're really good. They're really accepting of it because like I feel like ideas of like oh invite your whoever you're dating to our family dinners or family occasions, and
Mhm.
it's really nice to hear that without having it's like oh like you can only bring them in so and so, right?
Mhm.
So like just having that open idea of like oh they're more than welcome to kind of join us, you know? So it's just
Mhm.
wow, damn, they really changed. I love it. I love it.
Oh.
Um, I don't have to worry about the whole kid aspect, but of course I want kids. So
Mhm. I remember
I
you.
think there is a pressure of what how do I want to um start a family,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know?
And
And
that one's
so
like within yourself.
yeah, and like would my partner be okay with it? Or
Mhm.
what with what method? Like are we just gonna stick to adoption? There I know there are a lot of ethical issues regarding surrogacy.
Mm. Mhm.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'll carry your child, Carlos.
But then sometimes it's like, dang, when the child was to grow, it's like, who's your mommy? And I'm like, you know, the tita that's been taking care of you. Yeah, that one's your mama.
Yeah, like how does that work? Would it be like if I was to say if you and your partner asked me to be your surrogate, is it like my egg that would be used? Like, is that how that stuff works? I don't really
Honestly,
know.
like I don't really know.
Right? Yeah. Or is it like a different egg and different sperm gets put inside of just my uterus and that's it's just the uterus that's getting used. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm not that educated in that
Yeah. That's
field of
interesting though. It's
biology.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another topic that we could delve into.
Mhm.
Something I need to do my research on.
Oh man, that's so funny. Thank you for answering, Carlos, about like the pressures. It's interesting how I mean, I think everyone just has different pressures they put within themselves. And the people who I'm asking, it's like a lot of like my girlfriends that I'm asking, and we kind of have a similar ones of the whole like having babies and families and stuff. But it's interesting to see like from your perspective as like someone who is part of the queer community and wants to have a family, right? Like it's a
Yeah.
whole other thing to worry about. I think I can resonate with a lot with what you're saying. For me, like right now, I don't think I want to have kids,
Mm,
and like I think I don't really like have a pressure of like when I want to start a family and stuff like that. I mean, I think my immediate priority is like okay, let's have a 9 to 5 job and secure a full time,
mm,
and then after that, let's save money and like move out. But then another like societal pressure, I guess, or maybe like parental pressure, like family pressure, is that idea of renting versus buying. And I don't know if you got into that with people, but a lot of people are like, you have to buy, you can't rent kind of thing. Have you
never,
gotten?
never, ever went into that topic ever.
No? Wow.
No.
I've gotten into that topic a lot with people that I've just been chatting about and like asking about that. Because I think whatever you choose to do with your money, it's your choice. You
Mm.
know, like there's people that are heavily opinionated about not renting. Um,
Mm.
yeah. Oh, wow, that's interesting that you've never gotten into that conversation before with anyone.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm actually shocked. I was like, wow, you've been into those conversations. I'm like, I don't think I've reached a time of my point in my life where I'm actually discussing that. So like maybe
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
have, but like maybe about different things. Like I remember I talk about this topic with regarding buying a car. And you buy it or some a lot of
Lease.
people
Yeah.
I or lease it.
Lease or
Yeah.
rent. Yeah.
I find a lot of people tend to lease their cars because they don't want to commit to one single car, especially if they
Mhm.
have like their doubts on it, which I
Mhm.
get. But with a house, like I don't know, or like a living space, I don't know. Haven't came
Interesting. Yeah.
across that topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I guess for you, is it when you leave, are you wanting to buy or rent? Or
I
you haven't
think
thought about that?
I don't think I did think about it. I think initially I would want to rent first and then look for a place because then that way I'm able to kind of, I guess, s- not stabilize, but adapt to being a more independent individual. Once I'm able to kind of just be on that independent, um, or become more independent, I will feel like I'm more ready to kind of just buy my own place.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I get that too. I think like for me, I want to rent before buying as well.
Mm.
But like conversations that come up with people who are pro buy, I guess, like pro buy or pro rent, pro buying a house first. They're like, well, you're paying for other people's mortgage, well it's something that you don't own, well there's this and that, like there's a lot of those type of opinions that come about with people who choose pro buy a house rather than rent.
Yeah.
But I think for like me, I I think it just depends on your lifestyle too. Like I've had meetings with like consultations with mortgage agents and real estate agents and stuff like that just to see if I'm on the right path to when I want to buy a house in like 3 years or something.
Yeah.
So but like with me, I think it just really depends on your lifestyle and what you want to do. Like if you don't if you want to travel like you can't really just, okay, let's go up and just sell my house. Or then some people are like, oh yeah, like you can go travel, like buy a house and then you can rent it out and have people like rent out your house while you live somewhere else or something. I'm like, man, like it's all like a lot of effort. Yeah, it is possible. Like you can buy
Mm-hmm.
a house and if you want to move out and go somewhere else, you can have people rent it and but I guess that's at the end is just totally up to you and your choice.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with her.
But yeah, going back, I think a lot of the pressure is like I don't really want to have kids. I don't really care about buying a home. I think I just like, want to get a job, want to move out and just be happy with life and stuff. Have
Yeah.
a dog. And I think that's a lot of women nowadays. They aren't looking to start a family. They're mostly like focusing on themselves and their careers and stuff.
Mm.
I
I
think that's
As
a
they
new
should.
statistic. I'm not sure if I'm.
No, I feel like we should all focus on ourselves, you know? Like I don't think society, like I know society does put that kind of pressure on us, but in the end, like it's your life. Society probably just sees you as a number, to be realistic and to be blunt, like they just really see you as like a number.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yeah.
in the end, just live live life for you, you know? Like
Exactly.
if you don't
Yeah.
want to buy a house until like you're 50, go for it. Like no one's expecting anything. And if your friends are gonna judge you for it, are they really your friends if they're judging you for it?
Mhm. That's so true. Yeah, I feel that. Yeah, even like my aunt, I was telling her like, "Oh yeah, like I'm doing an internship. Like I will like have a job right now, but it's a possibility to turn into full time." And like the first thing she says, like, "Oh, awesome! Like you can start saving up for a house." And that's
Mhm.
like where their mind goes to for us to be seemed as successful,
Oh, damn. Yep. Yeah.
right?
How does one see success? Living on your own, being independent, having a family, having a lot of kids, being rich, having a lot of cars. You know, it's like, uh, no, like I think even at my point in life, I know I've yet to get my degree, but
Mhm.
I think I am pretty successful in my eyes. I'm not, I know I don't have much, but with all the experiences, I feel like those or what I've learned, it will take me where I want to go.
Mhm. Yeah. It's so true. Like at the end of the day is like how do you see yourself and that's all that really matters. It's like if you see yourself as successful in like these areas in your life, then that's all that really matters. Like who cares about what other people think of what how they see you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that, Carlos. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah, because I
you.
feel like we get so wrapped up in what other people are thinking about us and especially now that we're gonna be 26-year old this year. We're seeing people on social media, having kids, having babies, having a house and stuff. And you're just like, oh shit, like, am I behind? But it's like, doesn't even matter if you're behind because what matters is like, how do you see yourself in being successful?
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like because of the pandemic, I feel like it should be legal for turn my years back to 2 years ago because
Right.
pre-pandemic. For people who are even stressing about the whole pandemic, it's like, yo, I wasted 2 years of my life. I'm like, bro, like, no, you've also gained a lot of experience in this pandemic. And like, what experience goes? Oh, I've been doing the same. No, like, I mean, like, you know more about yourself. You know your own limits. You've explored your interests. You know what you like, what you don't like. You
Mm-hmm.
know how much you can take. Um, and of course, I know we do get impatient because we're all getting cabin fever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Mm-hmm.
but we all ask time for ourselves, and I feel like I you're able to kind of go through that self reflection, even if it's forced because of the pandemic. Um, I'm not saying that like this is what you should be doing, like not helping other people. Like, no, no. If you want to help, it's already in your head. Like, I feel like you should just go out and do it. You can still
Mm-hmm.
help the community bit by bit. Like even the smallest actions can really change
Mm-hmm.
the world. So
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. It only takes like one person, right? Um, I guess to wrap up our episode, I do have two questions for you. Um,
Ooh.
One is one piece of advice that you would give your young self?
Bitch, don't
Um,
take those business courses. I'm just joking. I'm just playing. I'm playing. Or Carlos, bro, don't take physics again. You
oh
got
my
the worst.
God.
You got even a worse grade, Carlos. 2% lower than last year. Are you serious? The
Oh
same
my
course,
God. I
bro,
feel
Carlos.
you. I feel you.
Took it twice.
Yeah.
Got a lower grade.
It's like, why am I
I
trying
got
with all
dumber.
these math and science courses? Like, for what purpose is this for? And I don't, but you know what? That's another thing. Like, people are pressuring you in high school or whatever. It's like, you need to take math and sciences. You need to do AP, or I don't even know there's two different ones. Like, one is like
It's like
those
AP or applied. And bro, like if I
applied,
knew, I would have probably taken college. F that, I
right?
would have taken college. I hate that.
Doesn't
It's like,
matter.
oh,
Yeah.
college is just more hands on. Like you need the university. No,
College
no, no,
is
no, no.
better, to be
College
honest,
is
in my
so much better.
opinion.
Bro. I think
College
that's
is so
the
much
advice
better.
I'd give myself. I'd be like, Carlos, I know university sounds nice, but college is the way to go. And
College
I'm
is the
like,
way to go,
you're so right.
100%. Yeah. Oh my God. Um, it's funny because like post grad, my program is like Seneca at York, but it's mostly Seneca classes, and I had a really amazing post grad experience, and I think college is like literally the way to go. You get smaller classes, you get to really know your professors, and they're all in the industry and all have connections with people in the industry. Whereas university, it was theoretical and it's very academia, and like it's so expensive.
Expensive for what? What am I learning?
1 year of university for me was like 12 to $14,000, whereas 1 year of post grad for me less than $4,000 for like a year of post grad, and it had better opportunities for me to get a job afterwards.
Yeah. Tell my younger self, bro. University and college are no different. Like I feel like
Mm.
college does offer a better experience if you're looking for more so no, I don't even know. Like a college also is very academic in a way, but their approach is different, which I
Mhm.
like.
Mhm. Yeah. I think like universities, like, are you trying to be a professor, a doctor? Like, it really depends on what you're trying to achieve, but at the same time, you don't know what you're trying to achieve at such a young age yet.
Exactly.
Or maybe you do, but just some people don't know it at certain ages. It's.
I feel like college should have like one of those beginner courses. There's like, this is a high school, but like your first year is for free. Explore the courses you want. Once you find it, go for the program.
Mhm. Yeah. I
I
think
feel like they should
university
do
has
that.
that. No?
Maybe because I fucked
General
up. Carlos,
general
you fucked up
something.
even more, man.
Some people apply for those types of programs, I think. Like you apply for a school and it's like you're in a generalized course or something like that.
Bruh, if I knew
I don't know.
that, I so would have. Yeah. What was
So
the second question though?
my second question, so this is like, I guess, to this is the last question to wrap up. And this came about because you're talking about like the pandemic and all the things that we learned. So, what's one thing that you're gonna miss from the pandemic that like you don't want to go away?
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
Honestly, I am not gonna lie. I'm gonna miss watching a lot of my BL dramas. I had
Oh
so
yeah.
much time to catch up on my BL dramas. And if for those who don't know, BL dramas is like boy love, so it's a lot of romance between just like like males. And it's just like when you watch a BL drama, a lot of the Western dramas you see with like same sex like relationships is that the whole coming out experience. And bruh, like I've seen so many of them. I want something different. I just want it like to be normalized. It's like I have to come out, blah blah blah. Blah. I have to do this. It's like no no no. I want something that like damn like everyone knows they're gay, or like everyone knows they're low key gay, or like just be open about your sexuality. And like this one was just like a natural like oh I love you. It's like dang they're having a full on relationship and having like normal relationship obstacles where it's like, oh, jealousy becomes like a topic. And it's just like, dang, they're really jealous and they're talking to their friends. And it's a normal conversation. Like they treat it as a normal thing. Not it's like, oh, do I tell them because they don't know yet? It's just like, like I want where like series where that is just normal. And like I found it, like, Thai BL dramas, search them up, GMMMTV, YouTube, bash it up. Okay, there is a lot. There is a show called Together, pretty good. Until We Meet Again. Damn, I cried. First series, I cried. Bitch, I cried tears. There's a lot of series. Oh god, I am on my 13th drama, so I
Oh
think
yeah.
that's the thing I would miss, to have the time to watch them all. So
Yeah. Because,
yeah,
like, we have so much time to be with ourselves that now we're starting to go back into normal, quote unquote, normalcy, right? And like back to that fast paced life again. It's like we're gonna be not being able to do things that we're so used to during the pandemic, if that makes sense.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
you? What would you
Oh,
miss?
yeah, you have been watching a lot. I need to watch one of those. Yo, tell me your top one. What's your top one that you recommend me
Oh,
to watch right
okay.
now?
Okay. Oh,
Top one,
oh,
top
they're all
one.
so good. Okay, I don't even have a top one. I feel like they're all top, like they're god tiers. Oh, I love them all.
Like if I
Um,
had to watch one today, what would it be?
do you like sad, intense dramas, or do you like
I
nice, like
want something with a bit
happy-go-lucky,
comedy. Yeah.
a bit of comedy?
Like makes
Oh,
you
a bit
feel like a
somber.
feel good.
I feel good, but oh, girl, let me tell you, go. It's called Together, so it's like the number two, and then like
Okay.
together because it's like
Okay,
two
send me a
different
link later.
Everyone who's listening, y'all gotta watch Together, y'all. You
Yeah.
you will you will love it. Ah, my heart. It's so full. Like I can't like every time I watch the episode, I'm screaming. I almost fainted by screaming from one of the episodes because I was like fangirling. I was like,
You're
and I'm like,
so funny.
oh man, I got lightheaded so quick. I was like, I'm gonna faint.
You're so funny. I think my advice would be kind of similar to yours, not to be afraid to make decisions for yourself and take other people's opinions with a grain of salt,
Yeah,
right?
I
Because
like that.
everyone's telling you to do something with your life, whereas you have full control of what you can and can't do with your life, you know? So do what you want to do and don't listen to anyone else. And
Don't ever take the safe route because the safe route I always find is to be the unhappiest route. So
yeah,
if they say,
I
"Oh
understand
yeah,
what you're
like you'll make stable pay," no, no, no. Even with stable pay, are you gonna even be happy with your life?
Mhm. Right.
So
Oh, yeah. Oh man, like I've had so many people was like, "Oh, why don't you just work with a government job? Oh, why don't you work at Canada Post? So why don't you work this?" It's like, I don't want to do that. What the hell? Like, I don't want to do that stuff.
yeah,
And anyways, I could go into a whole other thing about that. It's just
yo,
like,
we
oh,
could
yeah,
episode 500, Carlos
yeah,
and I.
Carlos, yeah, no, honestly, Carlos, you have to come back for an episode. We're not gonna wait 1 year. Like,
Yeah,
we'll do it. We'll definitely do another one together before the year ends. Like, yeah,
I'm
I
down.
feel like our conversations are so funny. Like some of my episodes are a little bit,
Intense.
yeah, a little bit more intense. Yeah, but like whenever like we talk about kind of serious things, but it's still like really funny. 'Cause yeah. We're always just laughing together, that's what it
I
is.
know. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I miss hanging out in person. But yeah, so that's the advice that I would give myself, my young self, and then something that I'll miss, when the pandemic's over is I don't want like self-reflection to go away because I feel like pre-pandemic I was so used to like living a fast life, not slowing down, like work, 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 next kind of thing. And I didn't
Mm,
really take time to reflect on what it's like being by myself in my own head.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people had to sit with themselves during the pandemic and be alone and be with their own mental health, which is why a lot of people have been really affected with mental health too.
yeah.
um
No, like that is a very interesting concept because I didn't even realize that. It's like, oh, there's a lot of mental health issues like coming about from pandemic that are now being exacerbated just because we don't have that skills, or even that
mhm.
self-reflection time. Since we have so much of it, it just can be overwhelming.
Right,
Yeah,
all of our escapes for what we do, for ourselves, so like traveling is something people do to like to escape from reality, whereas there's still things that are going on in your head that like you can't escape from yourself at the end of the day. And
yeah,
people that have been doing certain things, like I don't know, you fill up your weekends with going out and getting drinks and getting drunk, like partying every Saturday, right?
yeah,
Whereas like now we have a lot of things have been taken away from us, like at the end of the day, we're just can't really see your loved ones, can't really do much, can't really like you're just by yourself when watching shows on TV and stuff. But I still don't want to lose that self-reflection time and want to make sure that I'm taking the time to slow down, even if life is gonna be fast paced again. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. No, no, I think that's another thing I'd miss too. Yeah.
Mhm. Um, thank you so much, Carlos, for being a guest again on my podcast. It's always so nice of like us to chat with each other because we have so many laughs together and so much good conversation. But yeah, I really appreciate you just sharing your own experience of it's really tough transitioning after grad of going into the adult world and I really appreciate you sharing your story and your experiences.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you for listening, It means a
Yeah.
lot. It definitely does. It's also nice to really talk about this. It's been like thoughts in your head and like having to
Mhm.
say it out loud kind of just it feels like a weight has been lifted from your shoulders, kind of cliche saying. No, it really is. It's like I feel like talking about it just makes it less daunting. So
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah.
100%.
Mhm.
Um, when I
And you gotta
had
watch that a BL drama, remember? Watch
Yes!
that.
Okay, I
Watch
can't
that.
wait. I can't wait. Yeah. When I had, my series with Cruise and Tea, we were saying that these episodes, whenever we record together, it feels like therapy because 'cause you're able to just, like, talk about how you're feeling and what you're thinking
Mm,
and stuff, and that weight that's lifted, that's I feel like that's, like, that therapeutic feeling of having these
yeah.
episodes. Yeah.
No,
Thank you,
thank you.
Carlos. Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you.
And, thank you to everyone who's listening. See you next week. See you next time.
Well, listen. No, just say it next week.
Thank
Okay.
just
Okay.
thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.